Good morning, brothers and sisters.
Good morning, Dave.
I'm glad I didn't choose to say much about St. Cecilia. I can't top Bob's story about his mother, so it's a beautiful story. Love to hear it. But I would like to build on a theme that I heard building in our chapel yesterday, starting with Colin's reflection in the morning and then Father Bill's homily at the Mass. Colin ended his morning reflection on our life in prayer from our constitutions by saying, "We will become a school of prayer. Isn't that worth putting first?" The constitutions calls to foster among the people of God a spirit of growth in prayer, above all interior prayer. To be genuinely Capuchin, following the example of St. Francis, we must make the spirit and life of prayer a reality in our lives. Father Bill, at the evening Mass, built on this. He spoke about the different temples where God dwells, how Mary's presentation in the temple prepared her to become the living temple of Christ, the Virgin-made church, and how Jesus also comes to live within us. Through receiving him in the Word and in the Eucharist, he comes to dwell in the temple of our human body. Now, today's Gospel speaks about Jesus cleansing the temple. Immediately after his triumphant arrival into Jerusalem, the first thing he does is drive out those who were selling things and declared that his house shall be a house of prayer and not a den of thieves. Jesus calls us by our lives as Capuchins in service to the people of God to become a school of prayer, a house of prayer. One of the primary ways we do this is by allowing him to enter into the temple of our bodies, to teach us and transform us through his Word, the Eucharist, and our lives of prayer. At the same time, in our human weakness, we are aware of that den of thieves that can operate within us. Those thoughts, fears, anxieties that rob us of his presence in our lives, in our temples. The Gospel shows us how Jesus wants to cleanse us of these things so he can feel at home within our lives and continue to form us and teach us his will. We can participate in this cleansing by asking him to help us identify or inventory those things which clutter and distract us from him. For myself, I need to look at what is making me anxious, irritated, angry. What am I trying too hard to control? Who am I pointing fingers at, complaining about, feeling resentful toward, or afraid of? All these things rob me of the peace that Christ desires for me. When we write them down, take them to spiritual direction, confession, or even talking with another brother, we allow the Lord to cleanse us from these and guide us in healing the conflicts within ourselves and towards others. Through these actions, his peace comes. So let us open to him the areas of our lives within our own house, our own temples, that he desires to cleanse and purify us of. And allow him through this to lead us to a greater unity with him and a greater love for our brothers and sisters around us. And I wanted to just mention one other thing that I noticed about our temple here, the beauty of our temple, our chapel that we dwell in. I was walking outside last night and the lights were on in the chapel, and I noticed for the first time after 5 years living here how much of a difference the view from the outside of the stained glass is than from the inside when the lights are on. If you have a chance one evening when the lights are on, you really get a great view of all the images all around our chapel. There's something about the way that it's lit up in the dark. It's really has a beauty to it. So I just offer that as another reflection on the beauty of where we're at, and as we continue to cleanse our interior lives and live them out in the world today. Thank you.
Amen.